It's like the same thing I'm always preaching about how to be strong in sales and be a good BDO. Just be yourself, be authentic, right? And I think that you're going to have a higher probability of people taking a shot on you if you're willing to get vulnerable and keep it real. Yo, I want to work hard and make money. I'm hiring that guy.
I'm not joking when I tell you where I went to high school was rough. Like, you guys act like I'm joking. Like,
well,
I'm not.
It's crazy because Incredible Hulks were strictly a 90s drink, and you guys were drinking that in the late 2010s because that's just Alizé and Cavassier. That's all that is.
We did Hypnotic and Hennessy.
Oh, Hypnotic and Hennessy, yeah.
Right.
Hypnotic
I was definitely wearing Fat
Hypnotic.
Farm back in the day, 100%.
For sure.
She had some
Oh,
Fat
or the
Farms.
pants that says "juicy" on the back.
Vocal tank tops. Oh yeah, all of it.
Oh gosh,
all that stuff.
bring those back.
Oh,
Bring
I'm
those
I'm
back.
gonna pull out some pictures for you guys. I'll send them.
I
It's
thought,
ridiculous.
Wasn't the female line baby fat?
Yeah, baby fat, and it said I thought it was juicy on the back. There was the juicy
Nah, that's
velour.
Juicy Couture, right? That's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, but juicy. They had the bedazzled on the butt. Emily,
I'm
can you
gonna
attest to
be
this?
annoying. I'm gonna tell you, I used to
Come
match my
on.
Timberlands to my belts, just so you guys know. I had
Wow.
all different
You
color
had
Tims.
Tims for every belt? That's crazy.
I'm
Yeah,
getting
and
turned
then,
on.
Well, that's
we
strictly
called them old.
that's
we call
strictly a
them
New
old
York thing
schools.
too, though. But
Yeah.
that's a New York thing, man. New Yorkers wear Timbs all season for ass kicking reasons.
They
I mean,
wear
that's
Timbs to
just the
beach
way they
in
do.
New York.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah, they
man.
do.
They got
That's-
Timbs
they
all
got
different colors.
Flip flops.
So when
I
it
kind
comes
of
to
want to get a pair again, like an old, what was the color wheat, an old school wheat pair of Tims, like that. I used to
Oh,
have
the
butter
butter
wheat.
Tim.
Emily's
Oh, you're
saying Wheat
butter
Sims is
Tims.
doing it for me.
see, I like
You know-
the butter Tims. The butter
I
Tims
like
were
the-
my jam back in the 90s.
I was beefing broccolis all day. You know what I mean? Just getting supreme clientele on compact disc and a pair of beef and broccolis. You're
What's a
fitting
beef
in.
and broccoli?
You're-
Pyrex
those
vision.
are the- those are the dark brown and like hunter green one.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the BDO Show, a podcast for passionate BDOs wanting to level up their game with advice and stories from battle-tested BDOs. I'm your co-host, Emily Detour, and I'm here with my fellow co-hosts, Alan Peterson, Chris Hackney, Sterling Birdsong, and Ryan Kroge. And at the beginning of each episode, we'll go ahead and remind you to smash that like button and subscribe, and go ahead and send emails over to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. We literally just talked about this on episode 11, that choosing the right partners to work with is a critical part of your success as a BDO. And since you know we don't gatekeep around here, let's talk about a fan favorite. The guys have had nothing but good things to say about peak business valuation. I also decided to do my own investigation, and what I learned was that the last year alone, Peak did 1,100 SBA business valuations and turned them around in just 5 business days. Most importantly, they're easy to work with. The Peak team is always happy to jump on a call to discuss evaluation. They not only explain how they arrived at the concluded value, but are also open to receiving any new information that potentially changes the concluded value. The staff is knowledgeable, fast, professional, and the communication is top-notch. If you want to be the best, you have to work with the best. It's as simple as that. Reach out to Ryan at peakbusinessvaluation.com or call him at 435-359-2684. Let Peak Business Valuation help you build an SBA lending team that thrives. So today's episode, we were actually just chatting about this. So Ryan, congratulations on your daughter graduating high school. That's so
Thank you.
amazing. So today's episode, we are going to be chatting about life advice for the graduating class of 2024, which we know was very difficult to enter college in 2020, and to come out and you made it to the other side. Everybody, congratulations. You know, all of us come from different parts of this, country and different walks of life. So if we want to, we can all kind of chat about our past really quickly and how we all got to these jobs, like maybe what kickstarted our careers, or where we grew up, where we went to college, and or if we didn't, and what we're doing now. So why don't we start with Ryan?
Well, the game definitely changed over the last couple decades. When I was trying to get into this role, most banks were only hiring somebody who had at least a minimum of a bachelor's degree with a concentration either in finance, accounting, or management. So I have my undergraduate degree from the Oakland University, Golden Grizzlies. First round, I called it back in March when we beat Kentucky. Awesome. So I got my undergraduate there, and I got my master's degree from Walsh College, local private college here in Michigan. Because things have changed so much over the last couple of decades, my advice to the graduating class would be aware of who you are and where you are in life, because there are so many things that are changing at a more rapid pace now than they ever have been. So even the advice that your parents are going to give you is going to start to become stale the more you start to get through college or through whatever job training and job career path that you're trying to get into. So really be aware of those around you and try to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, people that know more than you about your industry, and people who you can look up to and strive to be. Don't hang around those people that peaked in high school and are still trying to live their high school days. That's fun when you want to go out for a night, but when you want to try to focus on your career, you need to surround yourself with like-minded individuals that are also focused within the industry that you want to strive to be. That's probably my number one thing that I wish that I had learned coming out of high school, that kind of, I don't want to say slowed me down, but it definitely wore on me as I tried to better myself and tried to better myself within my career, were those who were not the same minded, those who were still stuck in high school, and those who still wanted to have that mentality while the rest of us were trying to strive and grow ourselves.
What about you, Chris?
Where did I go to school? South Cobb High School, home of the Eagles. And then I went to Presbyterian College, small liberal arts school in Clinton, South Carolina. Our mascot was the Blue Hose, HOSC.
The Blue Hose?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
a-
we would
like
run
a
out.
Was
to
that
go
before or
get some-
after they met you?
I lay that up there for someone.
I have like 10 jokes and I got it out
It was
right
teed
now.
up. It was
Yeah,
teed up.
yeah, I teed it up. I wanted a spicy bit this episode, and I teed that up. I sacrificed
Sterling
myself.
gets it again. Sterling
That's
gets it again.
that's it. Another soundbite. Another. But no, I had a good time there. I would say a piece of advice: don't be afraid to network or make connections with leadership. I think a lot of times you're comfortable connecting with your peers when you're starting in the workforce. You're going to go to lunch with people that are kind of in the same rung of the ladder as you. But don't be afraid to try to reach out to maybe your boss or the next department over and just, hey, can I grab lunch real quick? The sooner you start to do that, the sooner you can kind of work your way up in that sphere. I think sometimes people kind of wait to start making those strides and outreach until they're a little more established in their career. But you'd be surprised. I have people reach out to me that are on like our small balance team and, hey, can I get a cup of coffee with you? Or, hey, can I just pick your brain for a bit? And I enjoy that because it's like a fresh perspective. They're not complaining about their job. They're new into the banking world. So it's like a fresh set of eyes. And you get energized in having a conversation with those types of people. So
and
don't
he
be
still
afraid to
says
reach
no,
out.
but he appreciates that they reached out.
Yeah, I never take the meeting, but I say, keep trying. But that would be my piece of advice: is try to reach up a few rungs up the ladder to network and connect with those that are in your sphere.
And that's not only good advice, but when you do network with those up your sphere, do not hesitate that once you build a relationship with them to ask them how they did it. Number one, ask them how they did it, how they became successful, how they reached the position that they reached. But more importantly, ask what mistakes that they made that you can learn from to grow yourself. You would be surprised at how they would just open up and tell you everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about Mr. Peterson, live from Orlando with his family?
Yeah. So my story is a little bit different in that I went to a Penn State satellite campus in beautiful northeastern Pennsylvania, but I didn't complete at the time. Yeah, well, I was more excited at the time instead of finishing school to bartend and kind of chase money. That led to me networking with a guy who offered me a sales job that sort of changed the trajectory of kind of where I was headed. So, I mean, from my perspective, I would tell anybody listening that maybe didn't graduate, right, that it's never too late to kind of go back to also learn a lot of things on your own. If you're really driven to make something happen, then go and make it happen. Yes, it's true I didn't finish at Penn State. It's also true that I'm sitting here at the Polynesian Bungalows on a Thursday after pumping $7 million in term sheets. So, and I should get $8 million back. So that's exciting. But I mean, really, it's one of these things where I feel like people are getting really good advice in general. ask people that are doing what you want to do, and don't be afraid to approach them. It takes some change, it takes some comfort, and it takes you to realize that not everybody that's in your circle is going to be in your circle. The way that you do spring cleaning and it feels good when you're done, sometimes you kind of have to do that with life. And that sounds like kind of cold or bitter advice, but it's a very important part of development. At least it was for me. So my advice to anyone either graduating or getting close or just kind of entering the workforce is you don't need to be the smartest person in the room, but you cannot be outworked. Because if you're in a situation like me, right, I had a lot more to prove, and I got lucky that someone took a shot on me. I was also self-employed before. I'm a licensed financial advisor. Previously, I had my Series 7 and my 66. How would I get sponsored and take those exams with no college degree? I interview really well, right? So it's like if you have that drive and you refuse to take no, anything's possible. That's my clip, and then I'm going to back to the park.
Sterling, how about you?
Yeah, so I came out of college and I really had no plan whatsoever. I graduated in 2012 from St. Leo University with a degree in entrepreneurship. So I knew one day I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I had no idea how I was going to accomplish that. I still needed an internship credit to technically graduate. And my mom at the time actually happened to work at Blunt and Curry Funeral Home here in South Tampa. And a gentleman came in by the name of Jim Furman. And if you're in Tampa, you know the Furman name because they own like 10 dealerships. They got Furman Mazda, Chevrolet, Nissan, you name it. And my mom just built a rapport with them. She's always been a better salesperson than I am, to be honest. She's the networking extraordinaire. A lot of people around Tampa probably know me as Angela Birdsong's son before they know me as Sterling. But
go Angela!
Go Angela.
I love Angela. Angela's the best, dude.
Big Angela.
Yeah, no, she loves networking. She's always out there. So she met Jim Furman and said, "Hey, my son is looking for an internship. Do you know anybody?" And thinking that he might send me to a car dealership or something like that. And to be honest, I would have gone and worked on a car lot. I had no problem doing that. There was no ego in me. I just wanted to go get a job and start making some money. Turns out he was on the board of the Bank of Tampa. And you know how it is in these small community banks when a board member says, "Hey, give a kid a chance," you give a kid a chance. And
right,
because I was sent by Jim Furman, they didn't put me on the teller line. They put me in the credit department because they thought I had to be somebody. And so I got dropped into this credit department, and I was there with a lot of other kids who, you know, came from very rich families or their parents were very, you know, important customers of the bank. And I quickly realized that I was lucky to be in the room. And that the way that I could stay in that room was to outwork everybody else. Exactly what Alan said. I had more to prove because, you know, to be honest, I didn't have the safety net that they had. I knew that if I didn't go out there and get it done, that, you know, that hole could get deep for me. So I was going to make sure I never touched the bottom. And so I basically just went in there and I grinded it out. And then eventually my sales manager was the one who actually took a liking to me, or actually credit manager. And he said, "Hey, you know, we're not hiring full time here, but I'm going to help you find your first adult job because, you know, I like you and you've outworked everybody else here." And so he's the reason why I actually got my first big boy job as an underwriter. And then I got there, same thing, just outworked everybody else. Did that for 3 years. I kept on saying I wanted to be on the sales side. And eventually they gave me an opportunity. And that was in 2016. I was 26 years old and I have just not looked back since then. I've basically just gone from strength to strength from there. So what I would say as, you know, advice to somebody who just graduated and is going into the workforce is get a foothold first. You know, don't think that you're too good to go out and get a job that's not paying maybe what you expect to earn long term. You know, my first year in banking now, mind you, it was 2012, which is crazy to think that was 12 years ago now. But, you know, I made $30,000 my first year in banking. You know, that wasn't a lot of money even then. And, you know, they actually ended up giving me a $5,000 bonus at the end of my first year because they said, "Hey, we underpaid you by a lot." But you know what? I was happy to just have the opportunity and just to be there and just to learn. And, you know, the fact that I was there and actually learned credit has been invaluable in my experience as a banker moving forward. It's really been what kind of differentiates me from a lot of other people who do this job. And so what I would say is that, you know, go get a job, you know, go get some income coming in, go learn a skill that's valuable to the world. And, you know, you can grow within that skill. But when you're in your early 20s, that is an invaluable time in your life for you to be setting yourself up to where you can make really good money when you get into your 30s or your 40s. Do not waste those years. If you don't want to be in the restaurant industry, do not stay as a waiter. Okay, go and get a job somewhere in corporate America with a real skill set that translates, that you can turn into dollar signs one day. And don't stop fighting until you get it. Okay, do not get complacent. Just go and do it, because I can promise you it's out there and it's real.
So I took a little bit of a different route. In high school, I was like, the social butterfly. I was friends with everybody, prom queen. I was in ski club, yearbook. I was in everything. I had my hands in a bit of everything. And then I was like, I don't want to go to college. And my mom's like, just give it a try, but we'll send you up to community college just to test it out. I was there for like a year. I was like, I hate it. I don't want to do this. I want to go get a job. And so I had 3 jobs at all times because my mom's like, we're not paying for your car, your cell phone, nothing. If you're not going to college, you're going to be working full time. And I was like, well, I want to do that anyway. So I always had 3 to 4 jobs at all times. And I just was like, I needed to make money. I needed to hustle. I started working at a front desk of a physical therapy office and managed all the schedules for all the physical therapists and all their assistants. And then I went over to a neurosurgery office and I worked there, and I loved it because neurosurgeons are just in surgery for 10, 12 hours at a time. And I had to manage PAs, NPs, like everybody. And then I got a job at a law firm. And I got there, and I remember the office manager, her name was Lisa Stapleton. She came up to me. She's like, where'd you go to college? I was like, I did, but I didn't finish. She goes, wonderful news. You're going to finish here. And I go, what do you mean? She's like, you're going to be answering phones and filing, and you have time to get your degree online. I'm like, okay. So I applied, went back and did I think I did my degree in like 9.5 months, and I was just doubling up on courses. And then I applied to my previous lender, and it opened up doors when I had my associates. I was like, because some of those jobs were off to people who didn't have degrees. And then when I clicked on that I had my associates, they hired me, and I was there for 6 years. I started as admin, went into sales coordinating, and then a little bit of marketing. And now at my current lender, I'm marketing coordinator. But I also was around the right people who were like, you have a lot of passion, you have a lot of drive. We're going to teach you, you're going to learn. And I have nothing but wonderful things to say about everything I was given and or also obtained just by my own, need. And so my advice would be, from going in like a totally different direction than your typical 4-year college, would be you are a book, and everyone's chapter is in a different spot at a different time. Sometimes you skip over a couple and maybe you need to go back and reread. I don't know. I really think everybody needs to stop putting you into like a box and realize that the world really is, everyone's different and not everybody's on the same path. So if you feel like you're falling off path, just try to surround yourself with good people. Make sure you're making the right connections, and you just stay a good person. If you're a good person and you have a good drive, you will do things that you want to do. So let's get into now that everybody has a small background on where we're all from and how we got here. Why don't I start with Alan? How do you think the current job market will impact this year's graduates, and what do you think that they should be prepared for?
I think it's going to be a lot different for a lot of people. It's unbelievable that how many folks I talk to daily that wish that they went to trade school, and I'm going to put that out there, I think that the job, it really depends on how you position yourself in school, because, to the point of not finishing school, like, as Sean Carter said, you can make your own luck, right? You make your own luck. When you do finish school, you greatly improve your odds of having that lucky moment. It's going to open doors for you, sincerely. If not, it's just
100%.
it's so much harder without at least having that. I would say that one bit of advice is that no matter what you majored in, unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what you're going to do. It shows that you've had the discipline and the drive and the determination to get through all the coursework and pass, right? So that's awesome. But just remain open-minded. I think this job market's going to be challenging in some ways, but I think that you're seeing a lot of people that are looking for more skilled trades, right? They're looking for very specific kind of things, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I'm rooting for everybody.
What about you, Ryan?
So this is a great take. So skilled trades, up here in Metro Detroit, it's huge with all the big 3 in automotive. Skilled trades are a massive need right now, and we just don't have them.
Yeah.
We don't have them. But my advice to the graduating class is do not try to find work in something you're passionate about, because that's what everybody's going to tell you. Your valedictorian is going to get up there and say, find what you like, find what you're passionate about, and go into that. My advice to you is find what you're good at. Find what you're really good at, what you can make happen, and then make that your passion.
Yeah.
All right. Because that's what I did. I went into college and I'm like, I was passionate about drawing. I did a lot of drawing. I was an artist, this, that, and the other when I was a kid. And I was like, I need to do something artistic. But what I was really good at was finance. Once I started taking finance classes, I said, wow, man, I'm really good at this. I'm understanding the language that is accounting. I'm understanding the language that is finance. I'm really good at this. Maybe this is what I should focus on. I ended up focusing on that. I didn't know what an SBA BDO was. And so once I started getting into that position and figuring it out, I made that my passion because I was really good at it. I liked sales and it just came naturally to me. So I made what I was good at my passion. And I would recommend that you do the same because I find a lot of people that they know what their passion is, whether it's art or something else, but they can't try to find an industry and make it something that they're good at. Mm-hmm. So focus on what you're good at and make that your passion.
So Chris, what do you think about the current job market and how it'll impact this year's graduates?
I think with the current job market, you're seeing a lot of consolidation of duties and what we call RIFs or reduction in force. As far as consolidating duties, using technology, AI, and you're looking at, okay, if I can get one person to do these 3 tasks, I don't need 3 people to do these 3 tasks, right? I can use some technology. So I would say for those that are coming out into the workforce, understand how to multiply your skill set and your knowledge base to make yourself more attractive to the employer. Whatever that is, it doesn't have to be technology. It could be speaking in another language, right? We have how you speak Spanish. That's Spanish. We're in Tampa. You know a little bit about SBA. Great. Come on aboard. It's an extra skill set. So ways you can multiply your skill set. Perfect. You're hired.
Yo soy Bay first.
Bueno.
Todos los días y todas las noches.
Puedo ir al baño. That's all I took out of my class.
Marketing yourself to
Más cerveza, por favor.
Absolutely. Now this is, should we just do the rest of this in Spanish? Can we try?
I'm out of it, but I've already said
Dale. But also knowing how to leverage some of the technology that's out there and the AI. I know a lot of, if we're talking about banking, banks are antiquated in general. If you could be kind of a person that has that skill set that could slowly introduce that into the bank in some level, I guarantee the IT staff at a lot of these banks don't have a clue as far as AI or how to get it going in the bank. Or even for any other industry outside of that too. So maybe trying to learn and leverage some of this new kind of frontier of technology and AI that I think that would help you look more marketable. But mainly just make yourself more attractive by having more skill sets than just your degree. You went to school for finance, like there's hundreds of thousands of people that literally did that. Make yourself stand out by, I went to school for finance and plus, I don't know, I also do videography. I don't know, whatever it may be. That just makes you stand out. And then maybe, heck, we can use this person for this skill and this other skill here. And it makes you stand out from the crowd.
Sterling, what about you? What does the current job market look like for this year's graduates and what should they be prepared for?
Yeah, I mean, the current job market for people who are graduating from college this year, it's going to be difficult. I think this is a more difficult job market than we probably ever gone into before. The redundancies are happening in big organizations because of things like AI that are going to be out there. But my advice to you guys is just, man, go out there and find yourself some money. Like what Ryan said, don't concern yourself with being passionate about what you're doing. Just go out there and find yourself some money because the money is going to make things a lot easier for you. I know money's not everything. That's a dream that they sell you. Oh, be passionate, do all this fun stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, you're going to have problems in life no matter what. You're going to have problems if you have the money. and you're going to have problems if you don't have the money. The problems that I have with the money are a whole lot nicer than the problems I had when I didn't. Okay. It's nice knowing that there's a roof over my head. It's nice knowing I can get the extra Chipotle, guacamole, you know, and I don't want to have to worry about the little things in life. And I'm telling you right now, go get yourself a sales job, whether you're not, you got to sell solar. You know, I met some guys selling solar that are making like $200,000, $300,000 a year. They walk outside in the hot sun, but you know what? They got a hot meal at night too. It's not that bad, man. I'm telling you. If you want to get out there and you really want to hustle, there's a job that will take you, and you can find it.
I was golfing last weekend, and we were I was with 4 girls, and we're out there having fun, and we were talking about, like, this one girl was like, you know, I had a hard week, and I had to cry in my car, but at least I was crying in a Porsche, and that's I was like the best quote I've ever heard. I was like, that's so funny. It's a great way to look at it. Yeah. You got the car. She worked mad hard to get that car, and as soon as she got it, she was like, I had a bad day, but at least I was crying in my Porsche.
Yeah,
like, that's so funny. So true.
I never cry in mine, but I think that I think that, you know, a good piece too I want to throw out here if we can is, like, when we talk about these interviews and when you're just trying to go and get yourself some money, which I do not disagree with, by the way, is that when you're interviewing, be authentic, not because of any other reason than you're doing yourself a favor. If you're being your true self and it's not a good vibe, I would, you know, I just think far too often I've seen people interview. Chris, you and I have seen people interview together where they present one way. We present one way.
And they spill a drink on your lap and they don't bother to clean it up.
You're wearing a brand new custom suit in your case, Chris. But, you know, that lunch is legendary. That's another. That's probably a whole other episode. But the point I'm trying to make that's episode 2 of this.
Don't come in.
Don't be in a bunch of full of crap where you're lying to them, because A, you're doing them a disservice, but more importantly, you're doing yourself a disservice. Figure out what you can do and can't do. It's like the same thing I'm always preaching about, how to be strong in sales and be a good BDO. Just be yourself, be authentic, right? And I think that you're going to have a higher probability of people taking a shot on you if you're willing to get vulnerable and keep it real. Yo, I want to work hard and make money. I'm hiring that guy who says that, right? I mean, I'm being honest with you. So that's just some, you know, thinking out loud there.
Yeah, but that's a great point, Al, if I could just jump in there for a minute. Yeah. There's so many different talking heads out there right now on social media saying, oh, they never checked my transcripts. They never really looked into my resume. They didn't see if I had the experience. Well, guess what? They're going to figure it out real quick once you get on the job and you have no idea what the heck you're talking about. Yeah. So make sure that you're authentic. Yeah. You're telling the truth, but let them know you're willing to learn and you're willing to hustle to make that job a reality. All right. Because I guarantee you, they'll want to see your work ethic more than they want to see that pedigree on that resume. The pedigree on the resume helps, but if it doesn't come along with that work ethic, it's useless.
That's right.
And just so you guys know, the easiest way to get a job in this market still today is friends and family. It's your circle, it's your network.
100%.
Yeah. You know, if you think that you're just going to hop on Indeed and put out 50 applications, that's how you end up being one of those talking heads that's crying on social media, like Ryan was saying earlier. You got to work your network. You got to go meet people in person. You got to go find the most successful person that you know in your life and ask them what they do for a living. Mm-hmm. Then ask them how you can do what they do for a living, and see what they tell you. Maybe they're hiring, maybe it's entry level, but just get in the door, get started on your path and see where it takes you.
And getting in the door is important, because I'll coattail on that a little bit, Sterling. We didn't have Indeed when I first started applying for banking positions.
Set yourself up for that one too, but keep going though.
Yeah,
I did. But
it was in the classified section. Yellow pages.
Circling the newspaper ad with the red marker. I'm gonna go apply here.
But
circling the
you had to go like buy it with a quarter somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to get him a t-shirt that just says old man of the group.
They put the help wanted sign in the window and Krogi's walking past the bank and stops it.
Krogi's like, you can take this out of the
window.
window.
I saw the sign out front, sir.
You laughed, but that was my reality. But I did something similar to that, Sterling. When I first got my first banking job, is every
delivered milk to doorsteps.
No, every bank in the state of Michigan, their headquarters was all on one boulevard in Troy, Michigan. And so I went up and down and I went to every HR department. I gave him my resume, gave him a cover letter, gave him a quick little pitch, and I hit about 8 different banks all up and down this boulevard. And out of all of them, only one of them gave me a call back. They had just been acquired by TCF, and they were desperate for underwriters. And even though I didn't have my degree yet, they created a position for me, and they made me their SBA and middle market analyst until I became an actual full-fledged underwriter.
Like, people who are doing the hiring, they're like, if you walk in there and you're like, have you ever managed this, or if you ever done this, did you do anything? No, but I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn quick, and I'm going to be the best at it. Like, they love your authentic attitude towards your personal goals in terms of careers, as well as the company, like bettering the company.
Well, how about this? Like, not to make this a plug real quick, but you look at companies like Shatterbox, who are actively working with people that they want to get in the SBA space. They don't know where to start. Shatterbox is a place that will help you find a job and train you while you're on the job, right? That's pretty interesting. I didn't know what an SBA BDO was. When I think of the fact that Ryan Kroge has been in SBA as long as he has, and he's still a young guy, I'm jealous that I didn't find this sooner. You know what I mean? No, seriously. Ryan's in better shape than anybody else on this call, man. Give the guy a break, right? But it's he's wearing an Iron Man t-shirt. Like, you know, what are we talking about? But dude, it's like, it's, I wish I knew what this was but before I got here, there was a lot of stuff I did that I didn't like doing. I didn't like selling paper and ink door to door. I didn't like being a headhunter.
That's right.
I didn't like trying to be a financial advisor. I didn't like washing dishes at my uncle's restaurant, right? But all of this stuff led to something because I just wouldn't quit. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point. And eventually, I really don't feel like I work. I love what I do now, right? We found the best thing there is. And if you're listening to this and you're getting out of college, look for a way to figure out something about SBA lending. I have this weird feeling it's going to be around for a little bit longer.
You know, I like what Emily said about, you know, just going in and just having the right mentality about, hey, I don't know everything, but I'm going to learn. And I'm here to learn, and I'm just going to figure it out and outwork everybody else, because I hate to be that guy where I'm like, you know, kids these days, because, you know, I'm not that old yet. But I do see a lot of that nowadays where it's like, well, I'm going to interview the company, and like, they're lucky to have me. And like, my PTO better be
that's
this.
Bad attitude.
No,
you know,
that's not the attitude.
I understand that a company should take care of you. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not saying that shouldn't be fair labor practices that are in place, but I'm just saying you need to come in with the right. And we treat everybody there the right way.
But they need somebody to take care of. That company needs somebody to take care of. So you got to come in with the right work ethic and the right attitude, and just be able to nail that out of the park. Hey, Sterling, you're 100% on the mark, man. Yeah. You got to come in with the right attitude and work ethic, and the company will take care of you. All right, you got to take care of yourself.
And you're going to stand out.
But you got to
stand out nowadays, because there's not as many people who have that mentality as there were 20 years ago.
Right.
That's
20 years ago, there weren't as many as there were 40 years ago. So, you know, if you come in with that right mentality, I guarantee you there's still opportunities in this job market for people like that.
All day long.
I had to stick up for myself in many interviews, and they were like, well, you don't have a degree. And I'm like, but I've done this. I've done this. I can figure this out. And if you put it in front of me, I'm going to get it done. And then they're like, oh, you don't have a degree though. And I'm like, and I would have to just constantly give the but, or like then maybe this isn't the place for me, but I ended up at the right place I was supposed to.
Right.
And they took care of me. Like, the attorneys were like so excited about where I was in the progress of my degree every day. And I'd be like, what do you guys think of George Washington? Like, in my political classes. And I'd get all these guys like arguing in the middle of the waiting room. And then I would have a whole paper written, and then I had advice, and it was a very exciting time to be at the right place I was supposed to. And they cared, because had I maybe done the degree alone at my house, or maybe I would have missed that opportunity. So I'm happy I walked in the right door at the right time. One of my last questions was going to be, and this is going to be a hard one for you guys, I think, to answer when kids are so young out of college, is what are practical tips for maintaining a healthy work-life balance as they start their careers? And I feel like half of
oh my God, if you're starting your career,
don't. You should have no life. You should have no life.
until you're
No.
20.
Here's the thing.
No.
I knew it.
No. Hey, can I?
a really good analogy.
Work-life
Okay,
balance.
Boo.
if life is a marathon, okay,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
the
it's not a
longer
track
it goes on,
Okay.
the longer it goes on, the more tired you get. Okay, when you're 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, you're going to be more tired than you are when you're 20, and you're not going to have the energy, and you're not going to want to run as hard as you do.
That's right.
Yeah.
In your younger days. So guess what?
Run.
Now's the time to sprint.
Yeah.
Dude,
When you're in your early 20s and you don't have
That's
the
it.
responsibilities of a kid or a mortgage or a marriage, now is the time to sprint. So you can slow down later on in life.
That's right.
Dude, Sterling, you hit, you're throwing darts, dude. I was going to say the exact same thing. I was 21 when I was 20 when I first got into SBA lending, and I was still had a whole other year left in my degree. And my wife got extra shifts, extra hours to help me push to get my degree, and both of us just hustled, man.
Love Tia.
We hustled
Shout out
a lot.
to Tia.
Yeah, shout out to Tia, man. She's been my rock, my
She's awesome.
driving force to get through college, number one, and to get through my first 5 to 7 years in my career to get me to the place where I am now. You know, people say, you know, to my wife, you know, you're a homemaker, you're a mom, you're a stay-at-home wife. Why don't you go back and get college and this, that, and the other? She looks at him and she says, I supported my husband to go through college. I supported him in his career to get it lifted and get it off
She's
the
a
ground.
partner. That's why.
She's a partner in that.
That's
you know, I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for her. And we just both hustled and we grinded our first couple of years of marriage to get through our 20s. Yeah, we weren't going on crazy vacations. But then again, we didn't have social media to brag about it. You know, we were just trying to get through to get to a point where we could go on, you know, cruise control. And that's where we are now. We're both in our 40s. And I've been doing this for over 25 years now. And we're at the point where she helped me build my network. She helped me build my business and my career to now we can kind of kick back. We've got 2 kids in college. We got 2 on their way, and we could just do what we want to do because we put the time and the effort in when we had the energy, like Sterling said, in our 20s to get to the point where we are today in our 40s where we just want to chill.
That's right.
It's great advice, Sterling.
Yeah, that's great advice. It's the truth too. I mean, honestly, it's not hot talk. That's for real planet Earth. You know what I mean? I'm 38. I'm still grinding harder than I wish I was, but I didn't find this when I was younger like you did, Ryan. You know what I mean? So it's a situation that it really pays off, and it does get easier. You know what I mean? Really, people call us now. Let's be honest about that too, right? It's not as full contact as it was in the very beginning. So, you know,
right.
I appreciate that, you guys sharing that. It's very good advice for anybody that might be in a spot or thinking this way.
And if you would like to call me, it's 2% month at Credit Bench. Got milk?
Come on, man.
Someone cut Sterling's camera off right now.
Yeah.
And Mike. Any closing thoughts here, Chris?
Closing thoughts. I think we've got good advice all around here. Just make sure you're making the right connections as you get out of school and you're going into your career. The connections will take you further than anything that we've said on this show. Knowing the right people, whether that's friends, family, or coworkers, latching on to the right people will catapult you in your career. I mean, work ethic is good and skills are good. But if someone's like, hey, I like that guy, Sterling. I like Alan, Ryan. He's cool. Had some good conversations with him. That's going to help you leap ahead of others.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. What a great episode. And again, to everybody graduating, if you're listening to this, or how Alan says, however you're absorbing this, congratulations. You guys have remember no work-life balance, just work. And then you'll be able to hang out in resorts in the middle of the woods on Thursdays and drink with your friends.
Look at Alan and I. Alan right now is sitting in Disney World with his family. I'm up north in northern Michigan on a golfing trip with a bunch of my buddies. I mean, that's what we do.
Well, I don't know if you can see out here, but
let's see. Show the world.
My view is pretty sick, but you know, here we go. Look at, we got these little hanging things. This is it's raining now, but there's the monorail This is called the Polynesian bungalows. Here's our private area. Here's our hot tub. This is my kids' stuff. I think there's a bunch of people in here. It's pretty nice. Work hard. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. I'm going to space Mountain.
Don't do drugs. Drink your milk. Listen to your mom and dad. Mr. T said
That's
so.
the advice. Drink your milk. Don't do drugs.
That's my generation, man. The PSAs. Love it.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. As always, the episodes get better. Email us some topics, anything else you'd like to hear over to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. Subscribe, like, and we will see you next time. Congratulations again.